Hey everybody, it's the interview queen Alicia Atout here, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to my interview with Jacob Whitesides. Hello.
Hey everyone.
Welcome, welcome. How are you?
I'm super good, just every day kind of feels exactly the same, but they're
Yeah.
not horrible, it's all right.
I feel like at this stage, with how far into this we are, we will all take not horrible.
I know, exactly. I've gone through like three different cycles that have kind of repeated. Like when it first started, I was just like drinking and like treating it kind of like vacation, just like chilling and doing absolutely nothing. And then like a month into that, when I realized that it wasn't going to be like a couple months worth of sitting in the house, I was like, okay, maybe I should like get my shit together. And so I like started doing like home workouts and like drinking water, and I like stopped drinking. And then I was like, what is the point of doing this? Like, we're literally going to be inside forever. So I kind of like went back to like chilling
Right.
and eating like shit and drinking. And now I'm kind of like somewhere in the middle, I'm just like, I feel like we're on the final stretch. So, I'd still drink on the weekends and play video games, but then during the week, I try to like, I'm like preparing to go back into the real world and not be like, you know, completely
Sloth.
dysfunctional. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a decent compromise you have to come up with because I was the
Yeah.
same. As soon as it starts, all of my tours and shows were just put on hold, if not canceled. And
Yeah.
you're like, all right, what do I do with myself? So,
Yeah. It
eventually we
was
got our
it
shit
was it was
together.
pretty bad because I had my first show coming up. I hadn't played a show in like a couple years, and I had like my first show coming up like right when everything shut down. So like I'd already sold like a ton of tickets, and like the rehearsal was like the next week, and then everyone was like, yeah, that's not happening. I was like, nice. So I was like just drinking my problems away and playing video games and just trying to forget.
It was just absolutely soul crushing. But I mean, you did mention video games there, which I know is a vice a lot of people have taken up
Yes.
if they hadn't already during this pandemic. So for you, are you the kind of gamer that's like super headstrong and competitive, or do you do more of the leisurely games?
It depends who I'm playing with. Like it took me a while because I've liked gaming for a long time. But like at the beginning of like probably like right before the beginning of COVID and stuff, I like built a really nice PC and like started like really grinding, which is probably stupid. I probably should have been like practicing like another instrument or something that was like gonna help me when all this was over. But like I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna dive into gaming head first and go pro in gaming. Um, and so I started playing a lot, and I have like a couple friends that are like pretty decent. So when I play with them, like I'm very competitive and very focused. I don't like drink or like do anything. Like I'm like trying to win.
You're in
But
it.
if I'm playing with like my girlfriend who is just absolutely shit at video games, but she loves playing with me. So like I'll play with her, and like I've actually met like a lot of I've been playing with like a lot of my fans and stuff that like to play as well. So I become really close with a couple of them, and so when I play with them and like my girlfriend, like I don't like try too hard. I just kind of like I try not to. Sometimes I'm a dick and I'm like get really competitive, um but for the most part, I'm a very competitive gamer.
Right. I feel like I'm the same. It depends on who you're with. Sometimes you
Right.
really want to just show up and show off, and other times you're like, ah, I don't
Right. It
really.
depends on the night too. Like sometimes it's just like everyone's like so good and you're just like so frustrating. Like you can never catch a break. And then other nights it's like, wow, I'm so good and I can just kind of like chill and like play casually. But I guess it just depends on the timing.
Absolutely. Well, since I do have you on the show, we of course have to dive into a little bit of music discussion. So I
Yes.
wanted to know, how did your whole experiment making random beats with no experience go the other night? Did you come up with anything good?
It's good. It's just like I get so frustrated. One thing, like, there's been multiple times that I've tried to do this. Like, I have the equipment to like do so and like make like music and stuff, but like I've worked with the same producer now for like since the first song I ever made and the last song I put out, all with the same guy. So like we have like a really good connection and we have like a really good system going to where like when I tell him like exactly what I want, like he can do it so quickly. So like when I'm trying to like recreate stuff on my own, like having no idea how to, it's so frustrating and it kind of like ruins like the experience of like making music. But I actually like I've gotten a little bit better because like over the last like couple weeks I've been watching videos and stuff and like actually trying to learn just because like I'm limited with the amount of people I can work with because of the pandemic. So I was like, might as well like learn a little bit like on my own. But it's fun. I enjoy it. Like it's good for coming up with ideas. Like I don't think I would ever like release any of my like things that I do on my own because they don't sound like perfect like I want them to. But it's good to like make things like that and then take it to my producer and then like actually make it sound like I want it to. So it's fun. It keeps me busy. It's more productive than like what I had been doing. So
Something else that had been keeping you busy is the fact you've been working on lots of new music, including a new song that's coming out on March 12th called Afraid to Die. So,
yep.
does the anticipation and waiting just kill you behind the scenes when this song is all ready to go? The bow is on the present, for all of the fans, but you cannot release it just yet.
It does a little bit, but like recently over the past like year or so, like I like parted ways with like my label and my management and everything, and I was like, if I'm gonna be like sitting around doing nothing, like I want to learn like how to do everything on my own as far as like marketing and like all the release stuff. So like I've been really busy with that, so that helps when like because usually I would just like record a song, write it, and then I would like send it off to them, and I'd just be sitting around waiting, and that's when I would be like more anxious. But like now that I've like gotten more into like all the nitty gritty, like I don't think about it as much because I'm like really busy.
All in your court too, so there's less to kind of
Yeah.
worry about.
Right.
You know
Right.
that's coming out on that date.
Right.
Well, fans haven't been able to listen to the entire song yet. There are a few snippets out there, but I feel the title is more relatable than ever with what we're all living through.
Right.
So just tell me a little bit more about the track and what fans can expect to hear you actually singing about in it.
Yeah, I just, there's been a lot. I mean, even before the pandemic, I've always dealt with like a lot of like um depression and anxiety and things like that. And obviously that was increased like when all of this like started, and like even now, like I still deal with it, but it's just kind of the idea of like feeling like you don't have anything left in you and like you're done, and like but like also simultaneously being like terrified of like the actual idea of like dying, which is like one of my biggest fears. It's just super like stupid, but
No,
that's kind of the
literally,
idea. That's
that's
kind of the
literally my
idea of the song. Yeah, I just like there was times where I was just like I'm fucking done, and then like also simultaneously being like, but like I'm not gonna do anything because like the alternative. So that's kind of what the song is about.
It's interesting to hear you speak about that because I know going forward you are going to be releasing a song a month for the entire year, and I'm sure there'll be many different themes that carry on throughout all these different tracks. So, how many of the songs are actually already written to this date? Do you have any more kind of on the back burner? Or are you just going to be writing them as the months go?
Yeah, actually, I have this one, and then I have about two more that are like just about done. I'm trying to like get ahead a little bit so I don't have to like rush to like put stuff out. So I have about two or three, and then I plan on. I usually just I usually will take like a snippet from that I've written in the past, and I'll just take it to the studio, and we'll spend like it's usually like a verse and a chorus or like just a verse. So we'll take it and like we'll spend one day um finishing the writing process, which I usually kind of do on my own, and then like the next 2 days we'll work on just like completely finishing it. So that's been the theme for now, has been just like I don't have like a ton to write about because like it's just like doing the same shit every day. So I'm just taking like old snippets and things like that and finishing them, which is fun because I don't know if I would have done that otherwise. So I'm glad that I'm getting the opportunity to bring like some of these songs to life. But as of right now, I have like three, and then like I just have like 3 or 4 days each month set aside to like finish one and put it like in the vault to get it ready to put out.
Yeah, it's definitely good. You at least have a few in the back burner.
Yeah.
And it's like I could imagine you're like towards the end of the month, and you're like, ah, shit, I got like 2 days left
Well,
to
like
write it.
with all the like streaming platforms and stuff, they like want all the songs submitted like 4 weeks in advance. So like you kind of have to like get ahead, or it like catches up to you, and it gets hard to like get in a rhythm of doing it. So, yeah.
Well, we've of course been discussing your original music, but it seems like you have a lot of late night acoustic cover sessions, like the recent Taylor Swift one you did. That was
Mhm.
great. And I know this is definitely the case for me, but do you find you're a little bit more inspired and creative at night, or is this just like on a whim that most of them
No,
happen to be filled?
I definitely am more inspired at night.
Yeah.
That's why I typically like to take those snippets because I'll be like sitting at like 2:30 in the morning, like in my garage, just like in my feelings, like writing. And then like I'm glad that I can like capture that because my producer is like in his 30s and has like a family. So we start writing at like 9 a.m. to like 5. And so I'm glad that I like already have like the idea because I'm not very creative about like writing and stuff like that early in the morning. So I definitely come up with like my best ideas and stuff like really, really, really late at night.
I wanted to ask because I'm the exact same way. Like I'll be up until 3 in the morning, just the creative juices flowing.
Yeah,
So
one of my phases like halfway through quarantine was like I'm gonna fix my sleep schedule. I was like I'm so dedicated. I'm gonna do it. I like set my alarm for the same time. I would go to bed at the same time, and that lasted for like 2 weeks. Because it's so annoying. It literally takes like a month to like get on a solid sleep schedule, and it takes like 2 nights to like fuck it up and like be like back at square one. So I just gave up.
I don't really blame you. But when it does come to the covers, they are truly lovely. And so I was curious if you could have, you're welcome, if you could have any artist cover one of your tracks, who would you love to see do so?
Probably Frank Ocean or Damien or I don't know. I think Frank because he's like one of my all-time favorites.
Okay. Have you ever
And
had
he
an artist? Oh, go ahead.
and he never puts music out, so any opportunity to get like more Frank Ocean would be fantastic.
Right. Plus, you'd be getting a little rub there. So, I mean, not
Yeah.
not too shabby.
Yep.
But have you ever had an artist you covered actually reply back to the covers, or have they ever kind of noticed them before? Is that something you've caught on?
That's kind of how I got like one of my first like I've never had like a viral moment that like helped like project me into like massive success. Like there's been like a lot of like small wins along the way, but like one of the first ever like times that like I got noticed was I did a cover of a One Direction song and Liam Payne actually tweeted it out in like 2012 or something. So that was like one of
That's
the
feel
first
back.
yeah, that was like one of the first times that like I had been noticed and definitely one of the most significant ones because that's kind of like it gave me like a nice bit of like people that started listening to my music and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely take it. But
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things we had briefly mentioned were concerts and how you can't tour at the moment. I know that's one of the things you actually mentioned when we were emailing back and forth. So, just speaking to live shows, I wanted to ask you, what was the first concert you ever attended?
Oh my gosh. The very, very first concert I ever went to was actually a bluegrass festival in my hometown because I'm from East Tennessee, which is very like redneck and like yeah. And the headliner was actually I don't know if you know who Chris Stapleton is.
Yeah,
Chris Stapleton. He's like an amazing country artist, but he actually before he was Chris Stapleton, he had a bluegrass band called the Steel Drivers that were like insanely talented. He was like the lead singer. So I saw them in like this tiny little barn with like 50 other like old
awesome.
people. And that's kind of like what inspired me to want to start playing guitar and start singing.
Oh wow, how full circle. I mean,
Yeah.
then what would you say is the best show you've ever been to?
Oh my gosh. I saw Damien Rice at Red Rocks, which was like pretty phenomenal. And was another amazing show. It's between that and then Coldplay has like one of the best live shows I've ever seen. I went to see them in Kentucky, I think, a couple years ago, and yeah, that was really good. But Damien's one of my all-time favorites, so that was like a really really powerful concert.
That's awesome. I mean, what a stage to see him on at the same time. Like that's supposed to be one of the
Yeah,
most venues in the world. So
yeah, I've never seen anything like that venue. It's honestly, and that was, yeah, that was really special.
it's amazing. Well, the last thing I want to ask you about today, it's the fact that on my show I not only interview musicians like yourself, but also wrestlers. So if you
Yeah.
could have an in-ring gimmick or persona, what do you think that would be for you?
Oh my gosh. Definitely nothing to do with singing because I feel like I would just get like absolutely clowned and I would be like a laughing stock if it had anything to do with singing. So definitely not that.
Okay.
Um, I would probably, I don't know. I would probably have like the best like wrestling outfits because I feel like um I've always wanted an excuse to wear like the really like cheesy like wrestling like underwear and like tight ass clothes. So
Spandex.
I would probably have the best wrestling drip, honestly, like of anyone. So that would be my gimmick.
Okay. And then do you think you'd be a good guy or a bad guy in the ring? Dressed to the nines.
I feel like I'd be a good guy, honestly. Like I'm not really that aggressive of a person anyway, so it'd already be hard for me to like want to like fight anyone. So I would definitely try to be like nice as possible and like not form like too many enemies because I really just don't want to get my ass beat.
Right. Or the really nice clothes torn apart, the
Yeah.
sneakers stuffed.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I really do want to say thank you a ton for hopping on here and shooting the breeze. I'm glad we were able to do this.
Yeah, it was really nice to meet you. Hopefully we can when all this is over with and I are you still in Canada?
I am Toronto right now, yeah.
Nice. So hopefully next time I have a show you can come out and we can actually meet.
Absolutely. Fingers crossed it'll be sooner than later. But
Yes,
to
yes.
everyone watching, this has been the awesome Jacob Whitesides. Be sure to check out aliciatubes.com for more exclusive interviews and features, and we will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.